Good afternoon from Imatra, Finland, a place famous for its roaring river rapids. They are currently behind me. I'll explain a little bit more in a second, but the reason I am here is because for me it is the gateway to Route 62, a scenic road that runs from around about here, just north of here actually, up to Puumala and then on to Mikkeli. Well, today I'm going to be driving the section from north of Imatra to Puumala. It's about 56 kilometres, about 40 miles. It is covered with forests and lakes and a few things to do along the way. So we are going to do just a little bit of exploring here and then we're going to get on the road. Excuse the graffiti, but that is what the rapids look like. If you go back to the late 1800s, you can see them roaring past that viewing area. And I think this may have been erected in its place a few years afterwards. A new viewing area that you can sit in and watch the peaceful surroundings. Lake Saimaa is the place that dominates this town. There we go, there's the lake as it comes out. The riverbed that's off to my right was historically a grand rapid. The water used to race through here from one lake to another, and it used to be quite a spectacle. People used to catch the train across from St. Petersburg to come and have a day out and view the rapids. It was that amazing. These days though, the water has been dammed and diverted around the rapids. However, every now and again, usually during the summer, sometimes once a day, they will open the floodgates and let the water roar over the gate itself and down through the rapids here. We have quite an interesting memorial here, a Finnish 1903 poem by Ino Leno, The Legend of Imatra it was called, tells the story of the Maiden of Imatra and her lover Andre. Due to their unfortunate fates, the couple threw themselves into the foaming waters of the rapids. In reality, dozens of people sadly decide to end their days here at the rapids. And the statue here is a quiet memorial commemorating those who have drowned themselves in the rapids. So here is the memorial and statue. As I said, just kind of hidden away in the corner of the park over here. I would imagine a lot of people don't actually see it. Just imagine what it would be like to stand here at showtime. I just happen to know actually that tonight there is actually a show happening, but unfortunately by then, with a bit of luck, I'll be in Puumala by then, so I will not have the opportunity to come down and see it. But just imagine what it would be like when they release the massive mechanism that holds the water back and the water starts flowing. Well, flowing is probably the wrong word, crushing is probably the better word. 400 cubic meters of water a second, Jean Sibelius playing in the background, lights flashing, and the sound of the water crashing along the canyon, down the rapids and out into the lake. It's actually quite surprising because if you look down there now, you can see how low that water is, but the water level the other side is pretty much as high as this barrier here. In fact, let me just take a quick walk up these steps. I'll show you what I mean. I've hit some pretty rotten luck with this weather. It has been raining most of the day now, and excuse the lens if it's filled up with water or got droplets on it, but here we go. Look at that, it's moving pretty quickly as well. Quite a sight to see. There we have it. It flows around there, and I guess protects the city from being flooded. I can only imagine. Right, well, with that, I'm going to go and try and dry out in the car and begin that journey to Puumala.
It's been raining for days now, been running like a child. Can't feel the cold, well I'm lost here with you, lost in the woods, lost as I should. I barely see the sky now, we're safe under the trees.
Close to the beautiful wooden church you saw just a few seconds ago, there is another wooden building here in the cemetery. Let's see if there's any English here. Ah, here we go. The bell tower from 1752 was built by Tuomas Sikkanen, carpenter from Ruokolahti, which I think is the little village that I'm in. How about that? The local village carpenter built the bell tower of the church. It's padlocked up, I don't think you can go up, but impressive nonetheless. Look at that, you see, definitely authentic. And there's the view out the other side of the cemetery. So this is the last time I'm going to mention the rain in this video, and I'm going to turn things around. Hopefully the weather's going to improve, fingers crossed. But unfortunately I've now got to another point of interest, I guess, along the route. So Route 62 is famous for being a very scenic road, consisting of lots of lakeside driving, beautiful forests and open areas, but there's also lots of things to see along the way. I was driving along the road and I saw a sign for the Salpa line, which is an interesting fortification that I visited the museum a few videos ago, so have a look at that if you're interested. But I turned off the road, drove up a very small little track, and after about 2 or 3 kilometers, I've arrived at this tiny little, well, it's not even a car park actually, there's just about enough room for me out there. That's the direction I just came from, and as I said, I've managed to turn around and park in this little gap in the trees, and I noticed that there is a sign here, 150 meters, whatever it is. Oh, here we go, there's another sign. Salpa, there we go, that's what I'm after. So I think I'm going to follow the trail up here, and as I said a minute ago, this is not the type of video I thought I would be making of Route 62. I thought it was going to be all about blue lakes, beautiful green bright trees, lovely blue sky, but it was not to be. So it's interesting how things turn out. There is miles and miles of this Salpa line up the border with Russia, and incredibly enough, in some very remote places. I am in the middle of nowhere, by the way. Look at that, just forest and trees, Christmas trees as well, look at that. There we go. Maybe I'll take one home back to England for Christmas. Let's continue this walk. Hello, hello, hello. Someone's had a campfire out here. It is raining harder than before, and I can see some fencing. Ah, here we go, look at this. Now this is just amazing, look at this. This is not in a museum or anything, this is just out here in the middle of the countryside. Fence protecting you from falling down, I guess, because it is quite deep. It's probably 15 feet down there. And there's a sign here, I'm not sure what it says. Perhaps the fortifications continue on. In fact, I can see some anti-tank hedgehogs down there. I'm going to go and have a closer look. Absolutely fascinating that it was all built and quite literally ready to go should a invasion from the Soviet Union take place. Another one. Let's take a look down here. More wooden trenches. You got to be really careful you don't get lost. It's really easy, even though I'm not that far from the car, maybe 100 meters. There's lots of different footpaths and trails that head off, you can see, in different directions. So that's not the way I want to go. I'm going to head across here, and the car actually shouldn't be too far away now. In fact, there it is. I can just see it over there. You may not be able to, but it's dead ahead. I don't think this is the way I actually came to the fortifications, but I seem to have found a new footpath heading back. Back at the car. Right, let's get back on the road. Found another little tourist route. Kummakivi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It is a balancing rock on top of another rock, and it is in fact there's a picture here, so I'll show you and then just give you a sense of where I am. There we go. That'd be pretty impressive to see. There's a little map here. I am parked in this car park, and the stone is up here about half a kilometre away. Unfortunately, it is getting a little bit late, so I'm not going to be able to do the actual trek. That's the road that I just came along. Very, very isolated out here. I've just driven off of an already very isolated road by about 20-25 minutes. And this is the end of the road here. Christmas trees in the centre once again. Be really good to do the hike, but as I said, just running out of time, so I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to get back on the road and head towards Puumala. Just stopped by some old farmyard. Maybe this was something to do with cutting up logs for transportation, or perhaps the winter time. Some heavy duty machinery, and maybe the name of the business up there. And over here too, bears with a saw. I've seen a few of these little gatehouses at the end of driveways where there's a bit of a distance to go until you get to the houses. I guess it's so the mailman, perhaps the parcel delivery person, can leave bits and pieces in there. Another symbol of a bear. I've seen a few of those now. It is dinner time. It's nearly 8 o'clock. I'm getting hungry, so I've got some snacks that I've brought with me, so I'm going to have those for my dinner tonight. But at this little stop-off parking area, there is this lovely empty cabin there behind me, and I'm going to take you now and show you the bridge leading over to Puumala. There is a lot of rocks in this area, and the breeze is getting cooler and cooler. It has turned really cold all of a sudden. Straight ahead, there is the bridge. How amazing is that? You can see the sky lit up behind it. I'll zoom in a bit. So I'm going to have some food, and then we're going to drive across it, find our hotel in Puumala, and maybe take a look around.
In the dreams we always fight, 'cause we never worked it out. It just kind of slipped through our hands. And I never really said that you hurt me, no, instead I just try to secrets, though I beg for you to keep it to yourself. Thought that you could buy my love, but I don't want that at all. You know I don't care about that. It was so exhausting, so I lasted, had to make it stop. Didn't really feel like giving you the chance to make it up.
Right now I've checked into my accommodation in Puumala, which is about halfway between where I started and where I'm going to end tomorrow. And this hotel is called the Villa Saimaan Sydän. I'm probably butchering that one, but that is the best I can do, I'm afraid. I want to show you the room in just a second. It comes with a communal kitchen, a communal living quarters, a shared bathroom and a private bedroom. But I'm going to show you the bedroom in just a second. But before I do, let me tell you that parking outside is free. There is no Wi-Fi from what I can understand. I didn't think there was a breakfast, but the owner sent me a message saying that I would be able to use the kitchen, which had fresh juice, cereals and eggs and that kind of stuff, as long as I am prepared to make it myself. So that was very kind. I'll tell you the price at the end. I'll give you that tour first. So first of all, this is the private bedroom. So we have 2 beds, one as a packing bench and one as my sleeping bed tonight with a bit of luck. Behind the camera, if I turn around here, you can see a little table set up. So breakfast for 1 in the morning. It has on it some coffee and some tea bags. Over here we have a kettle and a coffee percolator, a microwave and a fridge. There's nothing in it. It is just for me to store my cold food and drink if I wanted to. But I've got to say, very spacious room. I like it so far. I've no idea what the view is like outside the window here because it's dark. But let me show you outside here now as well. So as I said, shared bathroom. There is the easy relaxation area with a sofa and what looks like a piano over there. Don't tempt me. Dining table set up over here in the corner, a bookcase, a globe, a little sofa area with a very, very large TV and a little wardrobe there for children. Lots of toys and a little desk for them set up. Let's just have a look over here. And finally, here's the kitchen. Had a bit of trouble finding the light. It looks like there's plenty of cutlery and plates and biscuits and cereal all set out. Looks like a really nice kitchen. There we go. Okay, let's head back to the room and I'll tell you how much this costs for the night. Every time I've come to Finland in the past, there's always been some kind of self-check-in. And this is the 3rd hotel I've stayed in Finland on this trip. And all 3 have been the same again. It's all self-check-in, which I actually really like because it gives you all the flexibility in the world as to what time you're going to arrive. So on those days when I think I'm going to arrive at the hotel at 5 or 6 o'clock at night, but actually the day gets away from me and I end up turning up at 10, 11 o'clock at night, it doesn't matter at all because whatever the process is, I can do that at 5 o'clock or I can do it at 10 o'clock or midnight. I think I'm going to go and grab myself a shower and then grab myself a coffee before hitting the sack. Good night.
It really was